Hi Year 6. For our weekly reading, we're going to be reading The Jam Donut to You by Mark Lowry. The publishers are Piccadilly Press. My class, I know that we started this, but it's been a while, so we're going to start from the beginning, especially as Riley class haven't heard any of it. So, here we go. Hello, my name's Roman Garstang, and my life was completely ruined by a single jam donut. Jam donuts only have two parts, jam and donut. Oh, and a sprinkle of sugar on the top. They should be pretty easy to eat. Instructions for eating a jam donut. 1. Bite into donut with front teeth. If you have no front teeth, use your gums. 2. Chew donut using back teeth. If you have no back teeth, use step 1. 3. When donut becomes sloppy, swallow. 4. Repeat steps 1 to 3 until you have no more donut. Note, professional donut eaters like me always attempt to reach stage 4 without licking their lips. If you manage to do this, you may return to step 1 and enjoy a fresh donut. 5. Feel magnificent. See? Simple. Or at least it should have been, especially for me. I'm not brilliant at much, but I am an expert jam donut eater. I eat them every single day. Morning snack, afternoon snack, after school snack, after snack. You get the picture. I must have eaten thousands of them. And until last week, the worst problems they'd ever given me were sticky fingers or a jammy chin. It's no wonder I thought they were harmless. But they're not harmless. They're deadly, like guns or sharks with guns. Or trousers. Yes, that's correct. Trousers. Every year in the UK, 6,000 people are injured putting on their trousers. Can you believe that? 6,000. Only 100 people in the whole world are injured each year by sharks. This means that trousers are way more dangerous than sharks. You wouldn't see a horror film about tracksuit bottoms terrorising a seaside town though. And you wouldn't get lifeguards on beaches shouting, "Everyone out of the water, quick! There's a pair of man-eating jeans swimming round out there." Sometimes it's the everyday things that you think are the safest that cause the most damage. Monday. Picture of a jellyfish might give us a bit of a clue. Morning. The deadly donut causes me to headbutt a sea creature, lose the use of my face, and half drown my girlfriend in something horrible. There's a reason why I know that trousers are more dangerous than sharks, and it's all because I was so worried the other night that I couldn't get to sleep. My class, Year 6, have just finished our end-of-year tests. To celebrate this, our teacher, Mrs. MacDonald, organised a trip to an aquarium. Most people were excited, but as we got closer to it, I became more and more worried. Normally, my life is simple. I like it that way. I like how usually you can pick out any random day and you'll know what to expect. Up at 7:30, go to school, try to look busy. Stop for a donut, go home, have tea, eat another donut. Watch TV or play computer games, go upstairs, choose underpants the next day, go to bed, repeat. Maybe this is why I love jam donuts so much. There are no nasty surprises. You know when you bite into one that sooner or later you're going to hit that delicious pool of sweet, sticky raspberry jam. Unless, of course, you've picked up a lemon-flavoured one by mistake. That is. Lemon donuts are filled with this horrible yellow gloop called curd. Personally, I think a better name for it would be crud. They look perfectly nice from the outside, almost exactly the same as jam donuts, in fact, but inside they are pure liquid evil. Biting into a lemon donut by mistake is like waking up on Christmas morning, finding a BMX-shaped parcel at the end of your bed, tearing open the wrapping paper, then finding out that actually you've been given a model of a BMX made entirely out of an old man's stinky toenail cheese. Disgusting. Although I reckon the cheese from under an old man's toenails would taste slightly nicer than a lemon-flavoured donut. Surprises can be bad news, so it's always better to know what's coming next. I didn't know what was going to happen on the aquarium trip, and that's why I was worried about it. And two things were worrying me most of all. 1. Pears. On school trips, you have to pair up with a friend. I'm always stuck with this kid called Kevin Harrison who gets travel sick. When we went to Skipton Castle, he barfed into my woolly hat, and I didn't realise until after I put it on, so I spent the rest of the trip combing chunks of half-digested Frosties out of my hair. Ever since then, Kevin's had the nickname the Vomcano. Number 2, the shark tunnel. In one of the rooms at the aquarium, you walk through a massive shark tank. It's a tunnel made of glass, so the sharks swim right above your head. Darren Gamble reckons that sometimes they flood the tunnel and you've got to swim through instead. According to him, the aquarium loses about 9 kids a year, but no one complains because sharks is endangered, innit? I didn't really believe him. Gamble also claims that his grandma's got the longest neck in Europe and that he once found a live baby kangaroo inside an onion. But everyone had been going on about that flipping glass tunnel for weeks and I couldn't get it out of my head. The night before the trip, I had a nightmare about sitting next to a puking shark on a bus. I couldn't get back to sleep, so I sneaked online, which is how I learned that sharks are actually much safer than trousers. There were no websites that said if they puke or not. Afterwards, I went back to bed, feeling much more relaxed. But when I fell asleep, I had another scary dream. In this one, Kevin Harrison's radioactive puke caused his trousers to come to life. I woke up just as they were trying to strangle me. Because of this, I finally got back to sleep at about 4 a.m, which meant I overslept till 8:30, which meant I didn't really have time for breakfast. Then at the last minute, I changed my trousers for a much safer pair of shorts and swapped my planned undies, grey briefs, for a pair of swimming trunks. You know, just in case they did flood the tunnel. As a result, I was tired, hungry, and very late when I got to school. All of these things made me uncomfortable, especially the trunks, which were a little bit too tight around my, sensitive areas. No eating on the bus. By the time I flopped into my chair with my coat and lunchbox, Mrs. McDonald had already started the talk. The talk happens before every school trip. It goes like this, you guys know it. Blah, 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 best behaviour, yakety yak, representing the school, nya, 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 no eating on the bus, etc. Nobody seemed to be listening, apart from Jane Dixon, who is really clever and nice and would never ignore a teacher. Teacher's pet. Most people were too excited about the trip to concentrate. Plus, we were all in our own clothes, which makes you feel like you're not at school. Plus, Mrs. McDonald was wearing her own clothes as well. It's very strange seeing a teacher in their out-of-school clothes, like seeing a spotty zebra or a soldier in a pink tutu. We're all used to seeing Mrs. McDonald dressed in a standard teacher outfit. Silk scarf, clumpy shoes, long dress that looks like a pair of old curtains, etc. I'm not trying to be nasty, but today she looked like she'd just been dragged through the lost property bin. She was wearing outrageous green and purple leggings, even though she's about 1,000 years old, the whitest trainers of all time, a first aid kit bum bag, and a homemade knitted jumper with a massive picture of a guinea pig on the front. In fact, the guinea pig looked more like a cow that had been hit in the face with a frying pan. I only knew what it was because Mrs. McDonald is obsessed with guinea pigs, or, as she sometimes calls them, piggy wiggies. She has a guinea pig calendar on the wall with pictures of guinea pigs dressed up as Santa Claus for December, daffodils, March, and this month a guinea pig doing a bungee jump. There's also a photo of her favourite guinea pig, Mr. Wiggles, on her desk, surrounded by all the rosettes and cups he's won at guinea pig contests. Mrs. McDonald even looks a bit like a guinea pig herself. She has a stuffy little snout, slightly sticky out front teeth, and great big cheeks that may or may not be filled with half-chewed carrots. Anyway, while she told us to go now because the toilet on the bus is only for the driver, Kevin the Vomcano Harrison waved at me from the other side of the Roman. Psst, Roman, he whispered. Sit next to me on the way. I've got milkshake and a big bag of cola bottles. I thought, pretending I hadn't heard him. I think I'll give that a miss. I wasn't trying to be rude, by the way. Kevin's all right. Well, at least when he's not throwing up all over my stuff, that is. Still, I'm not great at maths, but I'm pretty sure that milky drink, plus fizzy sweets, plus bus ride, plus sicky kid equals a void. Despite this, the mention of food was enough to make my belly rumble. In my lunchbox, there was a delicious squidgy splodge raspberry jam donut. I imagined it sitting there next to my cheese sandwiches, the sugar stuck to the cling film, the dough all crispy on the outside and light and soft on the inside, the way the jam would ooze out as I lifted it to my lips. I could almost hear it calling me. "Roman," it said in a ghostly voice. "You know you want to eat me, Roman. I'm so delicious, Roman. Are you listening to me, Roman?" Funny, I thought, the donut sounds just like Mrs. McDonald. "Mrs. McDonald!" My eyes snapped open and I wiped the drool from my chin. Mrs. McDonald was frowning at me. "Yes, Mrs. McDonut," I said. "I mean, Mrs. McDonald." She tutted and shook her head, then carried on about how we were definitely not allowed to steal fish from the tanks. I tried not to drift off again, but I couldn't get the donut out of my head. Should I take it out and eat it on the bus, I thought. I don't like to make decisions without thinking them through, so I considered it carefully for, about 3 milliseconds. I do know that Mrs. McDonald had just said that eating on a bus was against the rules, but everyone eats on a bus when they go on school trips. Seriously, when we went swimming the other week, Gamble ate an entire roasted chicken in less than 20 minutes. Don't eat on the bus is just one of those things teachers say that they don't really mean, like, "I've got eyes in the back of my head," or "maths is fun," or "I was young once." Or at least that's what I thought. Trying not to let anyone see, I slid my coat over my lunchbox and opened it. Then I reached inside, slipped out the donut, and put it into my pocket for the journey. I didn't know it at the time, but this was the worst decision I'd ever made. This wasn't just any old raspberry jam donut. It was a donut that would ruin my life. This was a deadly donut. And on that cliffhanger, I'm going to leave it for next week. Hope you enjoyed. See you soon. Miss you.